Hey guys, so today my video is going to be on a really important subject that is kind of in continuation from like a previous video that I have done a few months ago on 9 to 5 lifestyle and my INFJ experience. So for now, I have come to a conclusion that I don't think I am cut out for that lifestyle and that I should really invest fully into freelance. And so this is a video on how I came to that conclusion and kind of the uncertainties and also some things that I have done moving forward. So as you noticed, as you might have noticed, I have kind of changed the background a little bit. It's just a different angle because the lighting here is slightly better than the previous one. And you can see my picture with the author Neil Gaiman at the background. That was a picture taken in New York when he visited the park near my school, Washington Square Park, if any of you have been there. So I actually met him in the winter and he stayed there for a while and hugged all of his fans. So that's like a little backstory on that photo in case you're wondering. Anyway, so I have been through a very tough time recently, and that has actually made me realize that the reason why I kept going through the same thing in a different setting is because I am just on the wrong path in life. I think that is currently what I have gained from the experience, and things may change as I go along, but right now I think that the right way forward for me is really through freelancing, and I really should have taken the bet earlier, but because of just the lack of security and lack of confidence in this more I would say unpredictable journey, I was unable to fully let go and to really try it out full force. But right now I think it really is the time for me to do that. And so so the first reason why I have actually arrived at this conclusion, or at least for now, is that in my past experiences, I realized that I always, whenever I'm working for someone else, I always have this feeling that I am not really doing something that I want to do. And I don't know if this is common among NF people working for a company or just people in general. I do know that there are people who really do enjoy working for someone else, or at least they are okay with it. Like maybe they don't love it, but they are okay with it. And for me, I realize that I'm just not okay with it at all. And I realized that one reason why I felt that way was because I feel like whenever I'm working, there is always some other place that I would rather be, and that is really the underlying reason why I wasn't able to focus completely on what I was doing, because it wasn't something that I actually want to do for myself. Because when you're working for someone, you are in a passive position, so you are only allowed to do certain things that they have designated to you. So for example, there was like one past experience where I have to write like 8 articles per day, and all the articles have to be a certain type of article. Like it has to be written in a certain way that would really add to the views. And I guess like it wasn't, I mean, I'm okay writing those articles and I'm able to finish my quota, but it's just not something that I truly feel is like something that I want to do. So whenever I'm working in that kind of environment, my mind is always somewhere else, and even when I'm doing the work, I felt like I wasn't 100% meant to be there, that the things that I'm writing is not really me. Like a lot of the news about some kind of a little bit of a I guess you can say like celebrity slant, and also just things that I don't actually care about. So I realized that it was really ill-fitting for my for what I actually want. And this is not just like one instance. I realized that for in fact all of my experiences in 9 to 5, I always feel like it is not something that I really want to do. And that's because I'm working for someone else. So when you work for someone else, you are not able to do what you actually want to do because the direction is already given to you. So even if you have a certain amount of freedom, it is not absolute freedom. It is not something that you can actually decide on. You're still given tasks to do. So, and another reason that I realized that I'm not really suited for this is um, just, whenever I'm in a 9 to 5 company or position, I always feel like I don't completely gel with the company culture, and this can be in many ways. It can be sometimes not clicking with people, and having like this group of people that you have to hang out with every single day, just like this fixed group of people. That is something that I like really don't like. As in, it doesn't really, I mean, obviously, like, it's really lucky if you just have a group of people that you really love to hang out with every single day of your life, and it happens to be your coworkers, and it happens to be people that you just find yourself around during work. But most of the time, you are not that lucky. And for my past two experiences, I would say, like, I had like very stable income and I was able to finish the work, but the people just were not really my type of people. And so I felt like I couldn't really talk to them during lunch. And it's just not anyone's fault, really. It's just not a fundamental difference in our personalities. Like, we don't care about the same things. And so there was really nothing much of a connection. And it is also something that you cannot control because it is your workplace, and the boss decides to hire whoever he or she wants to, and you cannot say, oh, I want to hang around this group of people. But you are designated with a fixed group of people, and that is a huge problem to me because I think for me as well as for INFJs, we have a very strong FE function, and the FE function is really looking for an environment that appreciates us, and an environment that we can feel a sense of belonging. And so if you end up in a place where you don't feel like you click with the people around you, then it can cause very, very deep-seated problems, emotionally speaking, because you feel like you don't belong. Like, it's kind of like a throwback to like middle school, but a worse version of middle school, because you now also have a boss and a supervisor, and you now also have to do things that you are designated to do. Even if you hate it, like, you still have to do it anyway. And you cannot like pick and choose your task. And so it's just I felt like it was very planned out, and you don't really have a say in most of the things that were given to you. And so you're a very passive actor. And I just don't thrive in those situations where I cannot choose who I can hang out with on a daily basis. Like, literally, if you spend time at work every single day and you just happen to be with a group of people that you can't really relate to, then you're pretty much stuck with them for like easily 5 to 10 years. And that's like a majority of your life gone. And that's really, but based on my personality, I cannot deal with that because I cannot treat work as just work. I also need to feel like at least some kind of connection with the people there. And it's really difficult to achieve that with a fixed kind of workplace where you don't have a say, in who you work with, in who's around you. And so that can be a really just like alienating experience. And the third reason is really because I just recently began to venture out of work. So because I didn't feel a sense of belonging at work, I didn't really relate to people at my workplace. So I decided to like venture out and to join things that I really enjoy doing. So I actually went to like this writers group, and I realized that it is so much easier to talk to people there because we actually have a lot in common, and we are able to like share our views, and it just gels together. It feels very natural. It's not like anyone is trying to force a conversation like small talk or trying to be polite. There was no such feeling, and I saw the contrast between the two environments, and I realized the first environment is really damaging to me because I am actually forced to be around this group of people who have just I just cannot relate to, and the wavelength is just so different, and I don't have a say in it. Whereas the second group of people I actually choose to hang around because we have those things in common, and I just naturally felt like I belong there. Like it's something that I should really continue doing. I should really do more creative writing and maybe get some stuff published. And there's a lot of information about publishers there, so I felt like very at home in that environment. Like even when I have challenges, we always have challenges in whatever work we do, I still felt like I was supported because this group of people can actually understand what I'm going through, and I didn't feel like I was at a place where I wasn't meant to be. And so this contrast really made me question, like, maybe I really shouldn't be in that 9 to 5 situation that wasn't really cut out for me. And so another reason, like another way that I found out was by looking around at people that I really admire, like just people that I felt like I really respect. And I realized that none of them actually work in 9 to 5 jobs. Like literally people I grow up, really liking and really admiring, whether it's famous people or just people I know in life, they are not really working for someone else's dreams. So for example, I really have huge respect for like artists and songwriters and actresses, actors, people in the entertainment industry who are, kind of in a very dynamic environment, and they have a lot of projects going on at the same time. And also, I also like listening to podcasts, and those people that I like to listen to, they obviously don't have a fixed 9 to 5 lifestyle. And also the like YouTubers, I feel like I like a lot of them. I relate to a lot of them, and one of them that I'm going to talk about is Wences. She's also an INFJ. And so I just look around at the people that I respect and admire my whole life, and none of them are actually, doing the things that, are going to guarantee financial security. And another person that I can think of is like this guy called, I think Awaken with JP. That's the name of his channel, I believe. And he's this comedian who does shows like, across the United States, I believe. And he does a lot of like comedy sketches based on his own ideas. And of course he works with other people, but it's based on his own like original ideas. And he has a lot of like very informational videos as well. He does like personal development, and he also does the very humor, satire, kind of social commentary stuff. And he doesn't do the things that you would, I guess, see like the mainstream people do, which is go to like a fixed location every single day and meet the same people. And so I realized like this might be a sign that I'm not the reason why I'm like struggling so much, going to work every day and just feeling drained and feeling like I cannot commit full time to what I was doing, is because I wasn't aligned with what I actually was meant to be. And if people that I really admire are not doing 9 to 5, then why should I? And then I also went to look at my social circle and like people who I'm very close to, right? Like the inner circle, like not even just good friends, but like best friend level. I realized that none of them are actually doing full-time job either, as in full-time but not 9 to 5 jobs. So they do work, but it's just they are doing freelance and stuff. So and they do manage to get like income from there. And so it just came to my realization that, you know, people that I truly click with and people that I truly connect with, they are not cut out for that lifestyle either. And so, you know, the reason why I felt so alienated and so like small in those environments is because I really was playing a role that was someone else's. Like it was not mine. It was not meant for me, and that's why I just struggled, and it became worse and worse. And it was to a point where, you know, I was you know, doing my tasks on time, but I just felt so not right that I started like having insomnia. I started just everything just worsened, you know, my temper worsened because whenever my boss would like nitpick stuff, like my own kind of stress level also increased, and so my temperament also became similar to hers. It kind of, you know, was contagious, you know. And so I felt like, okay, this is just very bad for my overall health, and it's also clearly not me. Like I wasn't doing things that I was like really meant to do. I wasn't doing things that I felt passionate or even inclined to want to do. And so I realized that I really should just try it out, you know, like I really should do something different. And so I did I did some changes. Like I actually set up a make a coffee for me. I think that's what it's called, like the coffee.com thing that I see a lot of people doing, and I thought that would be great. So if you want to show your support, you can actually get a coffee for me right now. And I'm currently also going to use the money to invest in like a proper ring light, so my videos would never look dark no matter the weather, and just a better like camera equipment in general, so I can actually make videos that look better like aesthetically. And I also went to make a personality story. This is basically a t-shirt and hoodie store that is dedicated to MBTI and also personality traits in general. So you don't actually have to be an MBTI expert or enthusiast to wear those t-shirts, because there are MBTI themed ones and there are also like personality themed ones. You know, like there's this hoodie that says like Daredevil for people who like adventures, and there's also one that says sensitive soul for people who are on the more like artistic side. And you know, it's like a form of self-expression that the reason I went to do all this is not because I was forced to do. It's not because someone designated me to do this. It's something that I came up with on my own, and it's something that I've always wanted for myself, because you know, I've always felt like um, I have a personality that's very different from people around me when I was growing up, and I want to make clothes that really show that people have diverse personalities, not just, you know, in terms of race or whatever that those demographics. We also have very different personalities, and it is important to recognize that kind of diversity in people. And so this idea of wearing a shirt or wearing an apparel that represents you is something that I wanted for myself, because I want people to be able to know what I'm about from what I wear. It's kind of a form of pride, like you're wearing your personality as a badge of honor, instead of something that you feel like, you know, you have to conform with others or you have to pretend to be someone else. So you know, those things are things that I actually find important. And so when I'm, you know, making the online store, when I'm, you know, designing those t-shirts, I felt like I was doing something that was right for me, that I care about. I didn't feel like I was reluctant in doing that. And even when I had to stay up, um, you know, making things right, I didn't feel like a huge sense of resistance. Like I didn't feel reluctant or grossed out. Compared to when I'm at work and I'm given a task that I'm really not interested in, or it's something that I really don't care about, and even though I still get it done, it felt like, whenever you do it every single day, it just feels very, very draining. And then you don't benefit from it, and the management doesn't benefit from it either, because neither is really bringing the best forward in that sense. Like even if I try to bring the best forward, it's also not something that really aligns with what I care about, and so I'm not able to really bring out like my soul to it, if that's like the expression. I can't think of any other way to put it. And so it really felt like I was in kind of a vampiric situation. I know it's a very strong word, but I really felt like I was being sucked dry. Like there was this force that was taking my energy away, and that's why I was not happy. And I was always doing something else on the side to make myself feel more alive. And so now I realize that I really should be more courageous, because previously why I didn't want to invest fully into freelancing is I'm very worried, and I still am, that I'm not able to achieve financial security with this kind of lifestyle. And I also do like acting on the side, by the way. So that's another area that I feel like I am doing what I like, and I don't feel reluctant doing it. Like I don't feel like someone was trying to drain my energy or force me into something I don't like. But there's definitely the issue of security, and I think that ultimately it is something that I have to develop through time, and it is something that I have to invest in. Like there's no really a very smooth sailing process, but I do think that it is something that I should start on and really, really just invest in it fully, instead of just doing it partly and then doing something else, and then just doing something that I don't really like, and just for the paycheck, and then on the weekends like doing something I like. I think that that's not going to help me in the long run, because I'm never able to spend as much time on those projects that I really like if I were to do a 9 to 5. So yeah, so now I'm just focusing on the 4 channels. One is on YouTube and podcasts, which I'm going to start on, and one is on the hoodie and t-shirt designs called Personality Story, and both are linked below. I mean the coffee, the Get Me a Coffee thing, and the t-shirt designs, and also my creative writing project, which I have kickstarted because I joined the group. And then the 4th one is the acting, the freelance acting. So right now, these are the things that I'm working on, and those are the things that I feel are most close to who I am as a person, in terms of like individuality, and something that I feel is true to the core of who I am, to be able to decide what content to put out, to decide what is important to me, and not to constantly have to watch out for, oh, I have to do this because someone else is asking me to do it. And so all in all, I'm hoping that this has some impact on you wherever you are in life, like whether you feel like this is something that you can relate to, like maybe it's also something that you are finding difficult to start because of or the lack of confidence, because it really is a leap, right? It really is a leap into a very unknown category, unknown territory, and it's not something that everyone is really able to jump into. So, if you are also in a similar situation, I hope that this video has helped you in some ways, and maybe it's relatable to you in some ways. So like and subscribe if you are interested in more content from me, and I will see you soon.